Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family. My name is Robert. This is 7 Up and At It here on the Said It Show. Now, what is 7 Up and At It? 7 Up and At It is simply a daily devotional where I will take a particular verse of the Bible and I will study the verses that precede it and verses thereafter. I'll even take and look at different translations. By doing so, where I can get a full context of what that verse, what God is trying to tell us in that verse. Now, why is it called 7 Up and At It? It is simply a thank you to my dad here on earth who would come in and wake me up some mornings, most mornings, um, and he would knock on the door 3 times. The door would open, he would simply say, "It's 7 Up and At It." So that's sort of a homage, thank you to my dad. Um, why do I video it? Videoing is simply because I think we're all vessels to be used by God. And when God gives you something, pours into you, He expects you to put it back out there for others so that others can benefit from it, others can learn from it, others can have a closer walk with God as well. So, and I think that's being selfless, which is something I feel God expects of us. So, let's get into it. What verse are we using today? Well, the way I look at every verse is I will figure out whatever today's date is. And so I will say, okay, today is July 22nd. So I'm going to look at chapter 7, verse 22 of each book of the Bible to see if any of those verses speak to me in a way that I feel will bless each and every one of us. And if not, then I'll flip it. And then I'll go chapter 22, verse 7. And as soon as I switched it, I knew what verse I was going to come to. And it's Proverbs 22, verse 7. And the reason being is because I had, in my previous life, 20 plus years, I spent in the financial world. So this verse I would use all the time when I would teach classes on biblical finances. Um, and it's Proverbs 22, verse 7. And I'll read it. And it simply says, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." Now, I'm sure many of you have heard that verse before, and it's self-explanatory, right? If you look at it, okay, the rich, the ones with all the money, they're going to rule over the poor, and look, if you're going to borrow money, then you become a servant to the lender, and that's obvious. Like I used it, okay, when I taught biblical finance, and it's true. But something God began to deal with me on is that where in that sentence of that verse are finances ever mentioned? It is assumed that that's what's being talked about. And in a way, it is. But that's not the only thing. You have to look at it in other parts of your life. For instance, the rich in spirit, those rich in the knowledge of God, they're going to rule over, or they're going to be the ones we learn, those of us who are poor in spirit or don't have all the knowledge, they're going to be the ones we look to learn from. And yeah, we can read the Bible and we can try to understand it. But there are times we need somebody who has gained that knowledge through life. That's why you have pastors, preachers, teachers of the word, priests. That is their duty. That is their calling, is to learn God's to learn the Bible and the full understanding of God's word. And what do? We go on Sundays or Wednesdays or Fridays or whenever the church doors are open to learn, because our spirit isn't there. Now, the problem with that is that is the responsibility. If you look at it, there's rich in spirit. That's a huge responsibility. They are shepherding a group of people who don't have all that knowledge. Where much is given, much is required. And those individuals who are the teachers of the word, let's put it that way, pastors, preachers, priests, they're teachers of God's word. That ruling, that hierarchy needs to stay clean of the 7 deadly sins. We'll just use that. Okay? And so we have to be able to trust that those individuals, because we're all inherently flawed, that those individuals have your highest and best in the forefront of their mind. That they want to see you completely succeed in God's word and not slip up. At the same time, there may be something that you have complete knowledge of, whether it's homesteading, farming, whatever you want to call it. Finances, of course, constitutional law. Yeah, there are things that there are experts in. And for those of us who don't have that expert knowledge, we have to depend upon those individuals. Politicians. We hope that those individuals have the knowledge of the rule of law, have the knowledge of the Constitution, have knowledge of the Declaration of Independence, have knowledge of the Bill of Rights, okay? And they focus on that. And they bring forth legislation based on that. Because we don't have all the knowledge of the inner workings of what goes on in government, we depend upon those individuals, those elected officials who have that knowledge to be doing our best, to be doing their best for us. Okay, that they have our highest and best intentions. Okay, they care about us, and making sure that government doesn't supersede its authority. And once again, those are men and women who are inherently flawed. But we always need to be looking to make sure that those individuals have our highest and best. Now, the second part where it says, and the borrower is slave to the lender, or servant to the lender. You could borrow. No, I start saying you could borrow a cup of sugar. Do you become a slave to your neighbor if you borrow a cup of sugar from them? Yeah, that's no. Okay. But let's say you borrow a piece of their land to farm on it, to raise livestock. Well, you're borrowing somebody else's land. So they themselves have a certain ruling over you and how you use their land. That's why you have contracts. So there's an understanding of what you can and can't do on that piece of property if you're going to borrow it. Okay. And how do you pay it back? Could it be through monetary? Could it be through product? That's part of it. So we look at it at this verse being all about money. And I'm here to tell you that it's all about every part of life. Your job, you have a manager. Okay? You have a boss. Why do you have that boss? Because that boss has knowledge that you don't have. And that boss is over more departments than just you and your department. Okay? So you have to listen to that manager. That's a servant mentality. That's a servant. Okay? Owners of companies hire people to do jobs. You are serving, you receive a paycheck, but you are serving that individual who owns that company. So it's not all about money. Okay? And I think we focus on that too much. And I think we need to make sure that this verse we utilize for other parts of our life as well. So I hope this has blessed you. I hope in some way this is giving you a better understanding of life and this verse and how it rules in all aspects of our life. So, like I said, if you've been here before, thank you. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for coming back. Please comment. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Comment and let me know if you think I'm missing it. If this is your first time, please do the same thing. And I want to thank you for coming and listening to us, listening to this video. I hope that you'll go back and look at other videos. And please, like I said, like and comment on those as well. So, as always, folks, remember, God has blessed you to be a blessing to others. So today, go out and bless somebody else because that action is what truly helps change this world. God bless you all. I thank you for watching. I look forward to talking with you on the next video. God bless and take care.